Once. Woo-hoo-hoo! Baby.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, man, that is elite. That is absolutely elite. If you haven't tried out that flavor, it's an import, but it literally tastes like Fanta, but a monster version. So much better.
Mate,
Anyway,
I'm jealous. I'm very, very jealous.
with that being said, welcome back to episode 8 of the BTP podcast, where we go beyond the program with everything coaching, bodybuilding, and lifestyle fitness. My name's Timmsy, and I'm joined by my very chiseled out co-host, Hang. How are you, brother?
Mate, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. It's been a week for us both, I think. But yes, I do sound a little bit nasally. I am a little bit blocked up in the sinuses. But other than that, I am doing extremely well. How are you, mate?
Oh, mate. I mean, what would you expect at the 4 weeks out or 3 weeks out?
Mate, two.
Two fucking. Where's that
Two.
gone? Where is it
It's
gone?
just flown
Oh,
by.
man. So what's your first show?
So it's an NBA state show, 2 weeks' time.
Yep.
And
beautiful.
then after that will be WNBF Gold Coast, which is 2 weeks after that, which is their national show. After that, I think there's another 2-week gap until NBA Nationals. And then the week after that is the final show of the season, which is October 17th, I do believe.
Yep.
And that is the ICN Pro Nationals. So that'll be the pro debut. That's the big one.
Ooh, baby. Are we
So
ready for it?
it's about a 6-week season,
Yeah.
which isn't too bad. There's a few gaps, which is nice. My last 2024 season, it was like back to back to back to back. So at least we get a little bit of time in between. We can refine stuff if need be.
100%, man. No, I'm very, very excited to see it, bro.
Yeah, me
Very, very
too.
excited.
Yeah, I'm keen to get started. Everyone keeps asking me, they're like, are you keen for it to be over? Are you keen for it to be over? I'm like, no, I'm definitely not, because once I get into that comp season, it's good. I am keen for the shows to get here, though.
Yeah.
Like, I'm at that point where I'm like, just get me there. Get me on stage. Like, it's so
I mean,
close.
You're looking unreal, and I mean, I did see the post or the story you put up a couple of days ago of the Superman and the superhero fucking pose down with the back shot.
Oh, yeah, that got some good
variation from
interaction,
the
actually.
Arnold shot. It looked unreal, bro. When I saw it, I'm like, that's a shot, bro.
Mate, that's a new one for this season as well. I've always done the 3/4 Arnold and then like extend the arm out like the Nike tick.
Yeah.
But I've never done the kneeling ground pose. So full credit to Mr. James Hume and the Stoic Posing Society for bringing that one in. But that one is a new favorite for sure.
Yeah, shout out to them, man. They're like, I've seen that, like, obviously I follow along on social media, but they're doing some good stuff, putting out some good content and stuff like that, and it's fantastic to see another great, I guess, posing company essentially out there.
They're going to be big time in. Give them a couple of years, they will be one of the premier posing teams out there. They're already running their own workshops with federations like OCB, WNBF. Like they're already getting big sponsorships from those guys. So the world is their oyster at the moment, and they've got everything covered. Multiple posing coaches, federations, divisions, male and female, all under the same banner. So like it's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, like, as well as like posing, like, I think it's one of those things that you can do all the work leading into a prep, but if your posing's not on point, then you're not showcasing your physique the best you can. Like, why? Like, this is the thing. Like, so many people stop on their pose and don't actually do posing like until like it's coming up to their shows. It's like you need to start doing it, way before you even think about jumping on stage, just to get a feel for it and just to actually understand it, because it's a whole different thing.
100%. Yeah. And I was definitely guilty of, no, I wouldn't say I was guilty of that in my first season. What I do find with a lot of people is, though, that your first season, you don't understand poses as well. Like I had a posing coach in my first season, so I was well prepared and I did do all the lessons. However, it's kind of like that. I like to use a phrase, you've got to make a mistake to learn from it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you've got to do the show and then you go, oh, now all the pieces of the puzzle fit together. Now it's like, oh, I've got the confidence. I know how to do this transition. I know how to do this.
100%. It's
underrated part of bodybuilding.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, there's some fantastic people doing it. Like obviously Donna's here in Victoria. She runs the posing locker, and her stuff that she puts on her stories, the amount of effort and energy she gives to her clients. I mean, she's doing online as well. There's some really good people. I know AJ. It's escaping me. Who's over in Sydney doing it? I can't think of the name.
AJ Sharma.
Yeah, the posing academy, I believe. I hope that's right. or the posing school, it's something along those lines. Those guys are crushing it. I think they just moved into a new studio, so it's really good that not only is the natural bodybuilding sport growing, but the posing part of natural bodybuilding is growing too. Because you do see some people on stage, and you see it every single season, especially me. Being on the sideline, you see it. People have incredible physiques. They go out there and they just can't hold poses. Like just can't. They don't know, how to pose, and it's just like, man, like you have all this incredible talent in terms of your physique, all this hard work you've done, but you're just limited on what the judges are seeing because of how you pose.
I feel like that's especially true for the males in the sport as well.
100%.
Like they do not put enough effort in.
Oh,
Like going to the FMG show in Bali earlier in the year and seeing Shawnee Hammond is my partner Danica's posing coach. She puts so much effort into her clients. It's unbelievable. But everyone at IPA, which is the International Posing Academy, put a lot of effort in, and all the girls have their posing fucking nailed.
yeah,
Like absolutely unreal to watch. It's like, okay, you've practiced this over and over. The boys are very good as well, to be fair, in FMG. Like their
yeah.
posing flows extremely well. But I feel like, especially in the natural feds or in the IFBB, it's just dudes that have posed in a mirror once or posed for Instagram but haven't
Yeah.
actually done any sort of posing
100%.
practice.
And I mean, like, I know, like, people, if they follow along, they'll also see that, majority of the time after my sessions, I'm in this corner in where I train and posing in front of a
The
mirror.
iconic powerhouse
The
corner.
iconic powerhouse corner, mate. It's fantastic. But yeah, it's so different from posing in a mirror compared to actually posing without a mirror, like without,
100%.
your camera facing the opposite way and you're actually just hitting poses. And I think a lot of people rely too much on a mirror.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that, if I can put my 2 cents in, is if you are practicing your posing, practice with your back facing camera facing you, so you can't actually see what you look like. Do your normal posing routine and then pick it apart afterwards and go, oh, actually, this looks different. And as well, like, you said, if you make a mistake, you learn from it. I mean, you look at stage shots and photos and stuff that you get back after your shows, and you go, oh shit, I probably should have sat into that hamstring a little bit more. And these are things you learn, and without actually doing it, you don't know. So
This is also why I encourage everyone to do multiple shows in a season.
100%,
Like,
100%.
obviously, most federations have a state and a national requirement, but you should be doing multiple federations, should be doing multiple shows because it gives you multiple chances of getting feedback from judges, either from the same federation or from a different federation. But
Yeah.
it just gives you that chance to actually see yourself on stage and go, okay, I do need to, like you say, sit in that hamstring more, or I need to bring this elbow up a little bit more. Have you ever had a posing coach?
Yeah, so I used to be with Vicky, which she was
Is Vicstar? Like,
yeah, because yeah, I think I don't know what her Instagram handle is. Yeah, but no, she was based out of where was it? Oh, Spartan's gym.
yeah, okay.
She was good, but
Totally know where that is, mate.
sorry, yeah, come on, bro. Yeah, it's actually near the. I'm trying to think. It's near Bayswater, near Bayswater Powerhouse. Not that helps you anymore.
Which powerhouse did we go to?
Oh, well, you came to my one, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's South Moraine. That's my home one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so yeah, about 30, 40 minutes away,
Alright.
essentially. But yeah, so I was posing with her, but yeah, I think for my next season, I'm actually going to go with Donna.
Okay.
Just because it's, obviously a bit more local. I've got a great relationship with Donna over the years, just seeing her at shows and working with her, and she's just a fantastic person, and someone that's very, very knowledgeable in the field. Don't get me wrong, Vicky was as well, but yeah, I think I need something different going forward, and I think I'm genuinely going to start probably next year in terms of maybe do a few sessions next year just to dust off the old cobwebs and
Yep.
let's be real, it's one of those things, like you don't have to do a session every single week. It's not like something you have to do every single week, but leading into a show, your amount of time that you do posing sessions, or at least practice your posing, should definitely increase.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
why
100%.
I think, especially in the off season, why I pose after pretty much every single one of my sessions is because, bro, after a leg session, man, 3 hour leg session, I'm gassed. Like I've put in all the work, done all the work in the session. The last thing I want to do is try and hold my poses and hold my breath and control my core and stuff. It's the last thing I want to do, but I do it because I'm at the heavy.
Are you posing after legs?
Yeah, but I pose after every session.
Oh, okay.
At least I do one full round every single time after a session.
Yeah, wow.
But that's just because of the posing conditioning. Like I'm essentially the heaviest I've ever been, and it's one of the best ways to practice because when you're on stage, you're not the same weight, so it technically should be easier. And it's just to continuously what's called oil up the cogs, I guess, and just make sure that it's all still somewhat good.
Yeah, if you can pull a vacuum at peak off season, mate, you're doing well.
I can. It's not easy, but I can. That's for sure.
Doesn't look as good.
Doesn't
Will
look-
that be in person or will that be just online? Just
in
done
person, yeah, man. I'll be going
Cool.
in. So
Cool.
it's yeah, it's actually really good, and actually helped run one of her workshops with MG for one of the MBA workshops, which was actually pretty cool. So which is something that I think they're going to be what's called using a lot more now. That I actually go to posing workshops, across the state and stuff like that, and actually do my role before the girls and guys do their eye walk essentially. So it's just gives that extra little bit of, okay, this is the guy that's going to be sending me out on stage. He tells me exactly what to do, and it's, they can run through it. So we did a whole stage walk, and it was actually an awesome experience. And I mean, at the end, we did crack a monster, which is pretty cool.
That.
It's yeah, it's pretty good. But no, man, it's yeah, it's awesome. So if you are listening to this, practice your goddamn fucking posings. Just do it.
Practice
Just
your damn
start.
posing.
Just start today. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just start.
All right, man. How's your week been? Like, we're going to do a bit of a general catch up first, I think. Like, because we've both had some decent weeks. How's your week been, bro? Tell me about this.
Well, I'm unemployed.
How did you notice in?
Well, yeah, I'm actually I'm officially self-employed now. So as of Friday was my last.
This is your last day.
Yeah, last official shift as a sparkie, bro. So,
dude, congrats.
Yeah, I'm officially done. The hard hat's hung up. The clothes.
How's that feel?
No, they're not. Scary, bro. It's like there's all these emotions, man. And like I was driving home. Like those sessions after the gym where you just like had a really, really good session, but you kind of just need to like just detox. So you drive home with no music. It was like that after.
No, really? I do not know that feeling.
Oh, bro.
Mate, I cannot drive in silence.
That man, like,
rogue.
All right, well, I do it, and I'm sure people listening do it. Let us know in the comments.
To be fair, I will say this: when I get to the car, I am a podcast listener now, so the hard gym playlist does turn off. It either goes to a soft playlist or it goes to a podcast. So I kind of know what you mean. Yeah.
So essentially, like to regulate emotions, sometimes I just like to drive home in complete silence and just like just let my mind think. It's essentially the same thing as walking without headphones. I just like to let my mind think. And I did that obviously on Friday after my last shift. And there was all these emotions going through my head. And I was like, I am scared shitless. Like that. This is like, now I'm in it. Like this is it. I've decided to make this jump. I mean, I know I've got, I've got a system in place. I've got plans and targets I want to hit. I've got a, good financial backing. So I'm not, it's too much stress on that front. But it's like, this is real now. Like it's a pinch yourself moment. It's like, I said to myself, essentially 96 days ago now, at the time of recording this podcast, that, I was going to do it and I was going to, take everyone along the journey. And today, like we are here, we are at that point. And it's like, this is the start. This is the start of where the real work starts, where, I start doing hours on the gym floor, I put more into my online coaching. It's just, bro, I'm like goosebumps, man. I'm just so excited,
excitement. Bro. It's, dude, it takes me back as well. I think that would actually be something good to cover though. Like what steps have you made? And you don't have to talk about numbers or anything, but what sort of things have you put in place so that from a financial perspective, you are in a safe spot? Because obviously you've got a mortgage at the moment 100%. As well. Like, so you're way past where I was at the time where I reduced my hours at my regular job. I was paying very, very cheap rent. Like, I might have even still been living at home, actually. Like, I was living at home for a little bit and then paying very cheap rent. Yeah. So I didn't have a lot of overheads. Talk about, like, how you're managing financially.
Well, like, with obviously the trade industry, it's no secret that we do get paid quite well. And, I've always been, so-called a tight ass, essentially. Like, I do value my money and well, they don't call us tight ass Timmsies for nothing. Like, just
wow. Is that a nickname?
Yeah, I can thank my old man for that one. But
I just thought it was because you didn't pass wind very well.
Good one. But no, I've always been like very conscious of my money, and like I've always not been someone that's like, I don't know if you saw thousands on schizo in the background. I've always been someone that's like very conscious of it and like not just seeing something straight away and buying it. I've always had like a rule: if it's like over $100, I take a good amount of time to actually think about, do I really need this, or is this just a fleeting moment? So I've always been on that front. So in that terms of things that I've over the years, I've, allowed myself to save quite a bit of money that, I can comfortably obviously leave without stressing too much. But in terms of systems that I've set up in place, there is markers that I want to hit in terms of numbers, on the gym floor and obviously online coaching. But, essentially you don't do this for the money. And like, I think I was having a conversation with the guy yesterday, actually in the gym after he came up and obviously saw on Instagram that I posted it and congratulated me and whatnot. And he was having that conversation with me, and he's like, you can see that you're not doing this for the money, that this is your passion. And like, obviously we need money to live. That's the crux of it all. But I don't want to like, essentially build my services based on the fact that, I have to get another client to make money. I'm in a position where I'm comfortable enough that I know the things that I've set in place are going to happen, and there's still going to be money coming in. But I want to, I really want to build my business based around the I can't think around the work that I'm able to give my clients and the quality that I'm able to produce for
Quality
my
of service.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not about building the biggest business or getting the most amount of numbers in. It's just about building that quality, and it's really really cool. So originally, like the series or the trainer series, and when I was actually meant to quit my job was at the end of October. Sorry, at the start of October, and then I'd move straight into Scotty's new gym in Greensboro. But an opportunity has presented itself, and it's one of those things. It's you take those opportunities when they come up, and this opportunity's come up, which I can't actually officially talk about just yet.
Oh, geez, I thought you were going to say it then. I was like, he's
I
leading
can't I
into it.
can't officially release all the details just yet, but they will be coming in like the next week or two, which is pretty exciting. So maybe I'll tell you off air because I love you, but
I think you told me off air last week.
I think I did. But yeah, so essentially, like, an opportunity came up, and I'm like, you know what, I'm no longer working as like when I work as a sparkie, I'm no longer like it got harder to go to work every single day. Like, don't get me wrong, I still, when I rocked up to work, still gave 100% effort, energy, all that, because that's the type of person I am.
But you've got
But
that light at the end of the tunnel ready to
yeah,
go.
essentially. And it's like, okay, every single day got harder and harder because I'm like, okay, now this is standing in between me and my passion. And it's one of those things. It's like, something like that. It's like, fuck, why am I doing this? So
Yeah.
yeah, essentially an opportunity came up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to grab it by the balls. Life is short. It's one of those things. I'll look back in 10 years and I go, that was the best decision I ever made. And even now, like, you know, I'm obviously in deep water, in terms of, a lot, like I've got a lot to learn still. I've got a lot of things that need to work out, but I know that this is exactly where I'm meant to be right now. And it's exactly where, what I was made for. Like, even this morning, and I put a story up on my Instagram just before this, that, my check-ins, I do all my check-ins on a Sunday, as you know. And this morning felt like the first time, like it was just like there was something different about this morning. Like, yes, nothing had changed. I essentially still did it like always on a Sunday purely because of work. But now that it's my full-time job, it's like it felt different. It felt like this was like this is it. This is what I was like working so fucking hard to get to, and here it is. So
It's an
yeah, man,
awesome feeling, dude.
it's awesome, bro. And like, I just want to continue learning and continue growing, and continue soaking up all this industry has to offer, because at the end of the day, we are very small fish in a very very big pond, and it's one of those things. So I think moving forward too, I'm actually going to start my nutrition sports nutrition accreditation. So I'm going to be starting
You're
that.
going to do like an SNA.
Yeah, I actually don't know. If I quickly pull it up on my phone. It's through yeah, it is actually through SNA. Yeah, you're
Oh,
absolutely right.
yeah. Okay. Yep. Cool.
So yeah, I'm going to be starting that very soon. Once I know a bit more of my schedule in terms of how much time I can allocate to study and stuff like that. But I
Yeah, I
just
was going to say, if I can give you one piece of advice there
please,
is give yourself some time away from coursework and give yourself some time to build said business before
yeah,
going in, because what I found is you get a little bit of coursework burnout.
yeah,
Because
okay,
I did Cert 3 and 4 in fitness, and then I got a bunch of clean health courses on the side as well. And so I went straight into doing those at the same time as trying to build a business. And I'm like, I'm half-assing these courses. I'm not retaining any information. I
yeah,
need a little bit of time away, come back to it, and then just like take little like stints of periods on and off.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like you're just digesting information and you're not actually retaining
No,
any
you're
of it.
absolutely right. Yeah, 100%. And
The
like,
the SNA one is top tier though. You're going big time,
yeah, well, I mean, guess who I asked? I was like, Scotty, what do I got
Scotty.
to do?
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
point me in the right direction, man. And like, yeah, he sent me the link and whatnot. And yeah. But like at the end of the day, man, like, it's one of those things. And you're absolutely right. Like, I don't want to just jump into it and just basically go through the course. Like, I want to retain it. I want to actually know what I'm talking about and know the work that I'm doing. So essentially when I start, figuring out what my schedule kind of looks like, how my books are filling up, stuff like that, I'll be able to allocate more time and, appropriately study essentially. But yeah, I'm just, bro, I'm just so keen. Like this is awesome, man. And it's such a full circle moment to know that I'm actually here now and like, I'm actually doing it. It's, it's like
How
literally,
when did you start or make the decision to do your cert 3 and 4? You say
so yeah,
2025?
July last year. So I was
Okay.
actually on, it was actually,
Almost a year to date.
yeah, bro. So I was
That's
actually, yeah,
crazy.
I was on a retreat well, after the TMG retreat. Myself, Mads, Shay, and Jackson stayed back afterwards. And yeah, we all just kind of Shay had these like question cards. I don't even know what they're called, but they're basically like just like real deep question cards. You place down and everyone answers them and whatnot. And it was one of those like realization moments that they put the card down, something along like what you wanted to do, and I'm like I really want to do this, but I'm too scared to take that leap. And essentially, those three people they basically told me that what the fuck are you doing not doing it? Like you know what you're doing, that this is where you want to be. Why are you stopping? And essentially that was the push I needed. And yeah, started the Cert 3 in July, finished it. I was actually pain. The Cert 3 was a pain in the ass to complete. So I waited
Yeah.
so long for them to actually finish it off so I could start the Cert 4. And so all that happened, and then I went away to Bali and Japan, obviously at the start of the year. And I was essentially in the downtime in Japan, because it was a fair bit of travel and like a fair bit of downtime in terms of the weather and stuff. I was going to start it in Japan, but when I got to Japan, they actually hadn't listed it over. So I spent like 2.5, 3 weeks actually communicating back and forth for them to get all the accreditation over for me to start it. And essentially, it was just too much work in the end for them, and like going back and forth, that I basically started it when I got home. I don't even know when I got home. I think at the end of April. So, or
Yeah, because then
April, March,
I
April.
would have seen you at
Yeah,
NBA,
yeah, it would have been
Lonnie very soon after that.
yeah, it would have been and yeah, NBA. Sorry, it would have been April of this year. Um, and then yeah, basically finished it with just over 3 months. So like, yeah, I'm sure if people have watched the trainer series, they would have seen in the clips that, I was waking up earlier to get more studying before work and then doing some at night. Still prioritizing sleep because that was like, definitely still a very, very big priority for me. So, just meant that I went to bed earlier, so I could wake up, essentially earlier in the morning and then do some study before going to work. But, on the same token, we're talking about Cert 4 here. Like, it's not like,
No, but at the same time, like neither of us are uni educated,
no, we're
but
not. It
but
don't cost.
do you listen to? I'm going to get hate for this, but Joe Rogan has a thing like the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. Like
Mm,
if someone's like, let's take an injury for example. If someone's worst injury is a broken finger compared to someone who is, broken their neck, still for that person, the broken finger is the worst pain they've ever been in. Or like, let's
yeah,
use bodybuilding as an example. Everyone like when you're dieting, your caloric intake is a lot higher than other people's, but it's still just as hard for you because you're still in a calorie deficit
yeah,
type of thing. It's the same, like it's our highest level of education. Now, while it's
yeah,
not a very high level of education in some people's eyes, it's not like doctorate degree and da da da. It is still our highest level of education. We still have to put
correct.
effort in. But I agree with you, and it was actually Scotty who said it to me as well. Like, fuck, we're glazing him up at the minute.
Yeah, gotta
But
show that.
I said to him that I was struggling getting my Cert 4 in nutrition done because I was just, you get up, do work, go to the gym, and then I would have it scheduled in the afternoon. And I'm like, by that point, I'm like, I'm on prep, I'm tired, I won't do it. And he said, he was like, start doing it first thing in the morning.
Yeah,
And yeah, game changer. I've started absolutely busting through notes, just getting up that little bit earlier or just prioritizing it early, even if it's only half an hour, 40 minutes of note taking, at least I'm getting something
yeah.
done. And like all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, one, I'm way more motivated to do it. Two, I'm actually getting the thing done.
Yeah, and like that's literally like the thing, and I know Nick touched on it last week in terms of bricking his phone. It was one of the things that like straight away in the morning it stopped. I mean, yes, I was recording the videos, so I'm going to probably get some slack for that. But it was like one of the first things. I got out of bed and I didn't even bother looking at my phone. I just like started my day and like, obviously set up the phone to record it, which is funny enough. But I started my day and I started off with studying. So I was like straight into it. And I think the best thing is that in the mornings I did a lot of my like, going over the coursework, looking at stuff, like looking at the stuff that I had to do, and then throughout the day, I found myself just consistently thinking about it, like from the morning of. So like, we go over, a certain client it's got a template that I've got to, kind of work out. Throughout the day, I'm thinking about, okay, maybe if I change this and change this, while I'm still coming to work. And then after work, after training, and after I come back home, I've had like pretty much the entire day to kind of stew on it and kind of get my mind over it and think about different options. And then when I come to study in the nighttime, I'm like, okay, let's put all these ideas straight into practice.
Mm.
So I definitely think that's yeah, it's one of the best things. I think getting up early in the morning kind of ties into our topic of conversation today, which we will get in. But before we do, I do want to just touch on your week in prep, man. How's this week been? Give us a proper update of your week.
Well, it's been a week of changes. So it's been a decent week of work as well. I started handing out client hoodies, which was really awesome and really grateful to everyone who purchased one of those. But yeah, I did a bulk order of some black hoodies with the business logo on it. So handing those out and seeing people wearing them around the gym was really, really cool. So yeah, that was really awesome, and I had some really great check-ins, got some really, really great results coming through the window now. Got a lot of people going on their holidays. So a lot of clients that I had were either in diet phases, or they might have previously been in a build and they've just gone into a little mini cut because they're off on a holiday. So ticking those boxes, full credit to Josh, Eve, and Ramus, who's about to get married. The dude is looking amazing. He's dropped
Ooh,
13 kilos in
man.
12 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
So give a shout out to him. He deserves one of those, especially because he's never counted calories before,
Yeah.
works 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off on a ship,
Yeah, no
and his
shit.
first like week was on ship. So this dude had to learn how to count calories while like getting his food made by a chef and
That's
like
wild.
getting cooked for him, and fucking nailed it. I was like so surprised.
Well,
So yeah, full credit
congratulations
to
on
him.
well,
Yeah,
good luck
man.
on his wedding, I guess. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah, I think it's in 2 weeks' time, and he's
yeah.
like going to the Maldives after that and shit
Oh,
too. I'm like
bro, how
majorly
nice.
jealous. But in terms of prep, look, it started quite shaky.
Mm.
So it's probably Saturday. I started to feel quite run down, sick. I'd obviously had like a runny nose for like 6 or 8 weeks previous. You would know, and anyone who's been in the depths of prep in season C in winter knows that you just can't recover.
No.
So that was just the reality, but it was manageable. It was just it was just clear liquid runny nose. It's
Yeah.
fine. But I did start to get a little bit run down sick. We had been running some high days at that time, which was really weird. But got to Tuesday morning, which is my check-in morning, had a really rough sleep that night, was feeling run down, fatigued, did my check-in for Scotty, took the photos, and I looked at them and went, fuck, I'm watery, flat, look like shit, which was quite demoralizing. But he then adjusted the original plan, which was going to be to refeed at the end of the week again, pulled that refeed forward and actually pulled out a training day,
Yeah.
which this is why I could not self-coach, because actually I could self-coach up until about 4 weeks out, I
Yeah.
reckon, maybe 6 weeks
Yeah.
out. Like the initial part of the deficit is fine, but then the mental game starts getting played because Timmsy, as a very new coach, what would you do to someone who is fatigued and watery? You would drop expenditure and give them more food.
Yeah,
We both
100%.
know that answer.
Yes.
It's exactly what he did. And then I felt quite funny about it mentally. I was like, oh, you sure, mate? Should we be doing that at 2 weeks out?
We need to do
I actually,
more. We need to do
yeah,
more
well, I,
cardio,
s-
less food. Like,
I sent him a voice note and I'm like, hey, just don't take what I'm saying as complaining or asking for more food. If you need me to dig harder, like tell me to dig harder. And he just replied back being like, mate, even if you were begging me for food, if I didn't think you'd need it, I
yeah,
wouldn't give it to you.
it's so
But yeah,
funny.
it's just that mental game. I'm like, I know that's the right answer. I know that 1+1 does equal 2, but I'm just like, no, it seems wrong.
It's so funny
Um,
you say that. Like, I had a very, very similar thing when I was when I was in prep, I remember sending him like, I think it was like my 3 days out photos or whatever. And I like sent him the photos. I'm like, bro, we need to do something. Like we got to cut more. I'm still fat. Like this is all like, we're not ready, bro. I can't step on stage this weekend. Like, I'm not there. And he sends me like either a voice note or a message back and goes, mate, shut the fuck up. We're on target. We've got this. And I'm like, all right, no worries, chief.
Mate, you pissed him off that day by the
Oh, I
sounds
did
of it.
100%. I was like, don't get me wrong. Like I wasn't, I don't feel like I was a hard client in prep, but I reckon towards like the amount of messages I reckon he got in that last, like the first prep week or peak week, I reckon like doubled from what I'd sent him like in 3 weeks. Like,
But that always happens though,
yeah,
because
it's
you're
just,
nervous at that stage
and
too.
especially too, 'cause, like being my first, like, I don't want to say legitimate prep, but like prep that was like a lot more structured and tailored. It was like I felt like a lot more pressure, and I'm like, okay, this is not right. Like something's gone wrong here. Like what's going on? And especially 1 week out, you're not exactly all there in the head. So
No, no, you're playing the mental game. But yeah, we ended up bringing that refeed forward. So I trained pull on the Wednesday because that was scheduled and we're like, we need to get that done.
yeah,
And then I had 2 rest days in a row. So we pulled out an anterior session and I had a refeed on both of those days. So 3 days of refeeding, 2 rest days in a row at 2 weeks out seems wild. To then get to yesterday's session, which was a full posterior session, everything progressed, took visual photos on the morning of as well.
yeah,
Quads were alive, absolutely stripped out, which is something that we've been looking to get. We've been pulling away. Obviously, you can't spot reduce, but we've been looking at the quads themselves, like stripped up to the hip. Abs were a lot sharper, felt a lot better. Yes, I'm still congested, but I actually had that feeling of energy. And all we'd done on those 2 rest days was usual step count, which is 12,000, no cardio, anything like that.
yeah,
So feeling 10 times better. But man, like pure mental game this week, honestly, of being like, oh, and I had to remind myself as well, this is the advantage of being ready a little bit earlier because I'm at this point now where I'm seeing other people dig really hard and they're, they're digging, cardio. And I'm like, shit, maybe I should be doing that. I've got to remind myself that I had quite an aggressive start to my prep as well.
yeah,
And a lot of people were having those same thoughts that I'm having now weeks ago. So
100%.
they were seeing me dig quite hard and getting quite lean quite early. And they were even sending me messages like, I've got a couple of mates who are competing around the same time and they're going, fuck, man, like you're looking really lean. Like, what's going on here? And I think they probably would have been stressing a little bit at
Yeah,
that time. So
100%.
now it's just reversed. I'm like, it's all a mental game. We're all going to get to the same point at the same time. We're just doing different strategies to get
Yeah,
there.
well, that's the thing. There is plenty of ways to skin a cat, like especially
There
for
is.
a comp prep. And Scotty's known for having his athletes like ready early in terms of fueling up into the show, not having to dig those final weeks. Because those final weeks you want to reduce inflammation, you want to really just slow everything down and calm down. And that's what he does. And I mean, bro, I was the exact same. Like when I was prepping, people thought I was doing season A. Like I was like, it's
Bro,
it's one of
this is
those.
how I first saw you was on
Yeah,
the NBA stories. Just be like, fuck, these blokes lean.
yeah. It's like, is he doing a secret prep? Pulling out a Nick Hanna before the Nick Hanna.
No, 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 no.
But
No
yeah,
secret
it's
preps.
one of those things, and I think I mean, not that I've done it any other way, but I think it's a really valuable thing that the fact that you can be ready early. Essentially, I'm not sure if have you run a trial pre-quiz yet?
No, no,
No.
no, no. We've done, however, I will say we've done plenty of like 4 days high in a
Yeah,
row, 3
yeah.
days high in a row.
Essentially,
So
like
he's definitely
it's
collecting
it's getting
data.
better. Yeah,
But
100%.
there's no, I, I heard a lot of people talking about trial peak weeks. It's so hard to manage that as well.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of variables that you can afford in peak week where like, step count, for instance, you put someone in step jail, you say 7,000 steps. That's fine because you're usually like traveling for the show anyway. You're sitting up in a hotel room. That's absolutely okay. If he was to tell me to stay at 7,000 steps, there'd be some days where I'm on the gym floor and I'd be like, mate, not
it's
possible.
just not possible.
Like
Yeah,
just not going to happen.
100%. Well, that's literally why I had to take. I think I took 2 or 3 days off before my first show, purely because he's like, bro, we need to reduce these steps. You either need to go to work and just sit in an office, or don't go to work. And I'm like, no, I won't go to work.
Yeah. Well, I always used to take the week before off work anyway, just to sort of account for that.
Yeah.
However, I was still doing, like the first half of my peak weeks, I was still doing 16K steps.
Yeah.
It was just as we got closer to the shows, we would drop steps off. But I
100%.
was just like, I'd rather not be at work
Yeah,
during peak
absolutely. And
week.
like, yeah, for the people watching, like that's not necessarily a thing you have to do. Like people
No.
still work all the way up until their show, and come show day, they've worked literally the day before. It's just if you're in the position you're able to, you've done all this work for your prep, you might as well take those last low hanging fruit and just allow
Yeah.
yourself
And
to
like,
relax.
I was working casual as well. So it's not
Yeah,
like I was contracted full time and had to take sick leave. It was like, well, I'm casual. I'm
yeah,
just gonna not let them roster me on. Whereas now it's very different. I have the privilege of working a job that I actually enjoy, which is good.
very good.
And I can actually, still be able to work while away as well. So they're like the only thing that'll change coming into my season is there's a couple of Fridays that I won't be available for my usual PTs
Yeah,
just because I will literally be traveling for the shows. But that's all been communicated to those clients. There's plenty of spots earlier in the week for them as well. So if I have to open up an extra few slots, so be it. But it should be absolutely fine. And then I will be gone for November for 3 weeks or pretty much the whole month, to be honest. But they will still be getting online check-ins the whole time. So I'll just transfer everyone who's an in-person client to online
yeah,
memberships. So it does mean from a business perspective that money can still keep running through. Obviously, that's not what we do it for, but that is a big positive. But it also means that they still get that quality of service and they still
yeah,
get that feedback because,
100%.
like, a lot of them have said to me, they're like, "Why don't you just take a holiday and why don't you just leave us be?" And like you don't have to do the check in. It's all right. I'm like, no, 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 because one, I enjoy doing this.
Yeah,
It's my passion. It doesn't feel like work. Two, I feel like I will be letting you down by not giving you that constant quality of service, especially for 3 weeks. I'd
yeah,
be like, a lot can happen then. And like someone's motivation levels can absolutely dip or they could be skyrocketing high. That
yeah,
might change. And I'm also just like, I would feel more stress that there is stuff to come back to at home.
yeah,
And I'd be stressing about, how's the clients going? How are they going if I'm not communicating with you? Whereas I will have a lot more peace of mind of having that check-in feedback happen.
yeah,
So they're all like, "Oh, why don't you relax and on this trip?" I'm like, "That is my way to relax.
100%.
Let me have a little bit of this."
Without a doubt, without a doubt. I mean, you're absolutely right though. Like you want to make sure that they're all still feeling like the first week they could completely derail and like need someone to hold them accountable, and then what?
Mate, what if an injury happens?
They're going to go that. There's so many possibilities. So I think that's a credit to you. Not saying that other people don't do check-ins, but it's one of those things you want to you want to be there for your clients, and that's why we do it. Like it's not just
And
for
it's
them. We want to actually see them succeed, and you're a part of their journey just as much as they are.
and it's what you sign up for when you do get into the industry. Like we've talked about this previously, but it is a 24/7 job. Your mind is
100%.
on it all the time. That is one of the things that you do have to consider when getting into the coaching gig is you don't get any sick leave. You don't get any paid holidays unless you do an online thing. So I think like anyone that's going into the coaching business and says, "Oh, I don't really want to do online coaching. I don't want to do social media. I just want to do it in person." You're shooting yourself in the foot
Yeah,
because you will get to this situation where you want to take a holiday or you need to go away for another reason, or God forbid, something goes wrong in your own life and you need to take time off. You will be absolutely screwed.
no income.
Um, no income whatsoever, no security, no protection. So just like, yeah, keep that in mind if anyone is thinking about it. But it's one of the things you do sign up for is you will be on a lot of the time, even when you're not working, you
Yeah,
are still thinking about other things. But that's the beauty of it as well.
100%, man. Without a doubt. And it's one of the best things, especially like, when you see those wins come through and when you see, those people make those changes in their life and, you have like a really good week of people checking in going, this is what changed this week. This is, what I was able to achieve. Like I actually fucking did this. Like, I've touched on it before, but my client that went to the gym for the first time, that was like the best, the biggest win that I had for the short amount of time that I've been coaching was so sick to see that, a small amount of change can have such a big impact on someone's life.
Yeah,
So
100% do.
it's absolutely awesome. I do have a question for you though. And I know obviously you're a bit, not all there in the head at the moment. not not all the functions are
Tell me how
going,
you really feel, mate.
especially from an analytical point of view. But what do you reckon has grown the most, or like that you're most proud of the growth over your improvement season in terms of body parts?
Ooh, okay. Um, well, I post like my weak. Let me first off start by saying my weak points from last season were posterior chain, pretty much everything. So lower lats was identified by. So that was my judging feedback from MBA and ICN.
Yeah,
Was lower lats because my waist is slightly thicker than certain other people. So having more lats will make your waist look smaller. And I personally would have said hamstrings, glutes were a little bit weaker in terms of body parts as well, because I am blessed with quite large quads, which is massive plus. But chest has always been a area of mine that sits quite flat as well.
yeah,
So I would say the biggest area of improvement is chest, because it's looking very full now, and probably my strongest pose at the moment is my side chest. So very, very happy with the progress that has come there. And then also the full posterior chain has come up. Hamstrings a lot larger, glutes dug out quite early as well, which I think goes to show, when you get conditioned, your level of muscularity there will dictate how conditioned you get. If you've got no muscle in your glutes, you're not going to get those rib cage lines. You're
yeah,
just going to get skinny and weedy. So they definitely came in a lot earlier. So I feel like glutes came a long way. And then there is definitely a more density in the mid back and lower lats as well. So I'd say posterior chain as well as chest has come up
yeah. 100%.
heaps,
Like
which is cool.
you've made some really good improvements, man. And like, not to toot your own horn, like it's literally the work you put in, and you know, the work, like we always say, is done in the off season and it's showcased on show day. So like, it's a
That's
credit.
absolutely it. Like a lot of people have obviously we've spoken about that I've moved coaches fairly recently, and they're asking if that has something to do with it. Yes, I think in terms of levels of conditioning, it's definitely got something to do with it. However, there was a big mental shift in the off season that has
Yeah,
definitely helped with that as well in terms of training
100%.
intensity. Like looking back at old training footage, there's a video of me in a derrimut somewhere. I think it's in Ballarat, from my ICN show doing 120 kilo RDLs. And I think that was my max at that point. I don't think I've worked past 120. And it was just like I was sitting at 10 reps, 10 reps, 10 reps. I
Yeah,
was too scared to push it up. And then I can't remember if I've said this on air or not, but I actually saw you, Caleb, and someone else doing like 160, 170 kilo RDLs. And I went, geez, I've got to move here.
mm,
And so that was a big shift. It was like heavy barbell hinge patterns. So all of a sudden I'm 2 weeks out and I'm still doing 160 kilo RDLs. Yes, they're freaking hard. And yes, it's for 6 or 8 reps. However, that's a 40 kilo difference in 2 years.
yeah,
That didn't happen just because of a coaching change or just because prep started. That was a shift that happened in the off season.
uh,
Same with like programming from the off season was a lot of unilateral lat based movements.
yeah,
So there are certain things that yes have changed recently, but there's also things that were put in place in the off season that have translated. Like I'm not getting stripped out glutes just from 10 weeks of hip thrusts. Like was doing that for a long time and a lot of adductions as well. I think that's come a long way.
yeah,
So heavy hinges, heavy rows, heavy pull downs, or actually I'd say controlled pull downs.
yeah.
I'm not actually that strong at any back movement. I'm not a very strong person. I'm willing to admit that. I look at like people's numbers. I'm like, I'm actually not that strong.
Bro, you look
But
at like you were just saying about my 160 RDL. You look at Nick Hanna's RDLs, bro, and I'm just like,
is it like 200?
yeah, 200, 220. This guy's not fucking human. I watch his
No,
videos and
but
I'm like, this is bullshit.
and then I'm watching AJ Morris, who, for anyone who doesn't know, is one of the kings of natural bodybuilding from the UK. And he's doing like 180 kilo barbell rows.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah,
watching one of his videos and he like straps, he's like, yeah, it's a posterior day, it's a pull day, wraps up into it, it grabs the barbell and it's 180. I'm like, geez, that's an impressive RDL. And then full just starts fucking rowing it. And I'm like,
some
shit.
people are just fucking strong, man. It's
So,
ridiculous.
yeah, I have no problem admitting that I'm not a strong person.
No, 100%.
But it's all about the control of the movement. And,
Yeah,
you don't just move weight from A to B. It's, utilizing the muscle in the way. So could I potentially just like throw 180 on a barbell and try it? Maybe. Would it look
Probably.
horrendous? Absolutely. So what's the point?
I was actually having this conversation with Mads. I want to actually test my one rep maxes, like not like anytime soon, but I just want to kind of gauge where I'm at because like I think the
Have you ever
most.
done any of that sort of thing?
Well, that's
Did you
the
ever
thing.
do
I,
any?
like after my first show, I did because like I had a goal of like getting 3 plates on every lift. So I had deadlift covered, I had squat covered, I just needed bench. So literally like 2 days, 3 days after my show, which is stupid, I did a 1 rep max on bench and got 103.5. So that is actually to this day still the most amount I've done on a flat bench press. The most
Wow.
amount I've squatted on a barbell is 120, and
Okay.
the most I've deadlifted is well, it was like 180 for 6. Or
Those rookie numbers, mate.
yeah. So like I'd like to think that I'd be able to pull up a 200 kilo deadlift, like for a 1 rep max. I'd like to think that. I'd
Yeah.
be I feel like I'd be about and then bench press, I would like to say I could probably hit like 110. I'd maybe like it's a thing though. It's like it's a technical thing as well. Like I haven't bench pressed in probably since my first show, like 2019. So we're talking 2020. So we're talking like a fair amount of time not doing it. And the same as a squat. Like I don't barbell squat. I haven't barbell squatted in years. So like, it's mainly only hack squat and pendulum. So I'd like to test it out, but the same token, it's not the most optimal for what I'm what I'm
Yeah,
doing.
but fuck it, we bowl.
Yeah, it's it. We do it. We'll do it. We'll both convince Scotty when you're a bit more in your improvement season after your
Well,
shows.
yeah, I was gonna say like those movements as well, those particular like squat, bench, deadlift, and I would also group pull-ups into this.
Mm.
They are pure practice movements.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
I've had periods where I've done barbell bench pressing a little bit more, but then you leave it for a program, so only like 6 weeks sometimes, and then you try to go back to it, and it's like, oh my god, everything hurts.
Yeah.
It feels wrong. Like there are certain movements that are just practice based, and they don't translate strength wise. Like if you did a hack squat and then you went to a leg press for 6 weeks, and then you came back to the hack squat, your strength is going to be pretty much, or your total load lifted is going to be pretty much the same, if not better. You're going to be like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I actually feel stronger at this. Those 4 movements, mate, it is just practice. As
They don't
soon as you
correlate.
stop doing them, that's it. You're done.
100%, man. 100%. So, no, well, I just wanted to touch on that and, man, say credit to you. You put in the work in the off season. And on top of that, too, you said that the mental shift, like, a coach doesn't do that for you. Like, you can't teach, like, the mental shift or, like, the want for something, especially,
They can encourage you. They can
100%.
definitely like say you need to have a mental shift. However,
100%.
you need to
It's
make
it's
that
on you,
shift.
and like I essentially used the term before. You got to have that dog in you essentially, and it's fantastic to see that in your off season you were able to harness that dog energy and go after it, and it shows in your physique now, man, and it's awesome to see.
And I think that's also getting used to filming yourself in a gym and
Yeah,
training clips, not only to give for form feedback to your coach, but for a bit of self-efficacy and a bit of self-evaluation. Like,
100%.
when as well as anyone, whenever you're in a heavy set of whether it's a heavy hinge, heavy squat, heavy press, you're under the pump and you feel like, holy shit, this is heavy. And my last rep is really, really slow in comparison to my rest. And then you like film it, you have a look back and you're like, oh, did I actually
Yeah,
get any reps close to failure, or were they all like 3 RAR?
100%. And like
So
shout out to Henry here for starting the guess the cult following of the death reps.
mm,
He was
mm.
sharing like reps of like quite literally you were fighting tooth and nail, and essentially it's a goal to work towards, and like when you get a set like that, like you said, some sets you go, fuck, I had absolutely nothing left in the tank. And you look at your cadence and you're like, bro, that went up so quickly. Like, what was I even thinking? Compared to like reps that you quite literally stop halfway through the movement because you're literally tooth and nail trying to get it up. It's it's different. And like essentially that's the reason you should film, not obviously everything, you don't have to, but film as much of your session as possible because in the set you feel different to afterwards when you can be a little bit more analytical and go, you know what, I actually wasn't as close proximity to failure as I thought I could be.
Yeah, or even like fixing certain technique things.
100%.
Like
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess that's the benefit of having a coach and having someone that you can actually send those video to and get feedback on. But with that all being said, Mr.
mate,
Payne,
we have run this episode.
we,
Do we
we,
need to cover our topic today, or can we
I was
like?
I was thinking maybe we should because like now that I'm obviously moving out of my traditional, I don't. Oh, maybe not. Maybe we. You know what? We've had like a few episodes where we've gone an
I've
hour
g-
in.
I've got a couple of questions here, which I
Yeah,
reckon we could fill a little bit of
yeah,
time.
done. Let's do
Why
that.
don't we leave the other
Let's
topic
save
for
that
next
topic
week?
for next week. So stay tuned for next week for the topic. It's going to be a good one.
Do you know what? You can either leave this in or cut it out. But this is exactly why I messaged you about this before. I'm like, I reckon if we just start catching up about our stuff, we can run a decent length
Well,
episode.
this is the whole benefit about, and like we Pang and I did discuss this, the fact that we're on 8 episodes, and it's pretty cool that this podcast is still going ahead, and we were discussing why we think that is, and I didn't say it at the time, but it got me thinking the fact that that Pang and I live in different states, are very locked in on our own certain things, and especially at this time, he's very focused on prep, I'm very focused on building my business, and obviously making that transition.
And
You know,
this was a weird week for us as well, because usually we're in contact like
yeah,
2
yeah,
or 3 times during the week.
yeah,
We did not message each other
no,
until yesterday, being
yeah,
like,
literally.
"We're doing the pod."
So like I think it's really really special that we're able to jump on a podcast every single week and actually etch out an hour or 30 minutes to sit down and have a conversation with someone and talk. And I mean, last week I went to an event about mental health, and actually having that conversation, and how the Are You Okay is fantastic. It's a fantastic start,
What
but
event did you go to?
it was an event run by Lil, which is one of MG's clients. She
Yeah.
runs a she runs a company called Perfect Events. I don't know if that's correct. I can't remember the exact thing. Um, anyway, and it was a event for basically a a foundation for the mental health research. And essentially, it was just collecting a bunch of people in a room, a bunch of men, mostly men, sorry, and we were just talking about how we can encourage the conversation and go past the "Are you okay?" And they're actually coming back, I think in October at the MCG, and doing like a full a gala night, which is going to be really really exciting. So,
Shit.
but yeah,
Nice.
it was like an eye opener in terms of we asked the question, "Are you okay?" But like that's where it stops. That's where the conversation stops. Like it's so easy to say, "Oh, how you doing, mate?" And, especially the Aussie way. "Oh, how you doing? Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, yeah, all good." Like
Yeah, it's an impulse response.
100%. So like, talking about how actually going deeper and diving deeper into that conversation, and it makes, it can make, incredible differences to people. So to tie this all back into the original point is the fact that we can actually sit down every week and have a conversation and talk to each other, and actually really open up and express how we feel. It's awesome, man. It's something that I don't take for granted. So that's why I love coming on these podcasts and filming the episodes, and that's why I think that the community is only going to grow with us. We're going to continue to expand, and we're going to get a lot of more episodes out as we continue.
Yeah, 100%. Like, that was what we said before we jumped on air, is that, we're not doing this for sponsorships. We're not doing this for money. We're not doing this for viewership. Therefore, like, we're probably going to have a little bit more longevity, because
Yeah,
even if we only have 5 listeners for the first 6 months, then so
bro.
be it.
Like as much as I enjoy the viewers, bro, I just enjoy chatting with you. I think it's awesome the fact
Yeah.
that we can
Yeah.
chat, and like I learn heaps from you every single week. Obviously, you've been in the industry a little bit more, and like it's just really enjoyable to talk to someone that understands it the same way you do, and like you can feed off each other, and yeah, it's fantastic, bro. I really do appreciate it. That being said, I do appreciate you viewers too. It's I do appreciate
Yeah.
the
What
comments.
are you trying to say about Benny Suda, mate? You're calling him out.
He actually sent me a video. He cracked a monster on top of a mountain this morning.
What?
Yeah, he said I don't know where he's gone hiking, but he's gone hiking somewhere.
He's a
Um,
legend,
he's
man.
cracked him monster.
Congrats to him as well. He just got an Emerald Lab sponsorship, which is
Yeah, I
pretty
did
sick.
see that. I did see his massive package PR. So no, it's awesome, man.
Hey,
Like
what
it's
are you doing?
it's
Looking at Betty's massive package,
oh mate, always looking at package. Look at his package, your glutes. Like I'm chuffed for choices, mate.
mate. 100%,
All right, hit us with
100%.
any questions, Mr. Pang.
All right. I've got one here. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done in a gym, or biggest brain fade?
Oh, actually, I've got a perfect one for this, because
Mm.
it's funny enough, it happened to me. This not happened to me, but I saw someone do it this week. I like when I first started at the gym, Smith machine, I put on clips.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's a bad one.
Yeah. That's passable.
I think it was like the first ever time I used it, and like obviously had used bench before, and like barbells and stuff, and I went into like did it, and I remember putting on clips, and I think this like the dead ass. I think this was when I was still at the pit, And I think Cole, my old coach, he basically said, he's like, bro, you don't need clips on this machine. The weights won't move off the machine. I'm like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense now that you say that.
Yeah, but I always like that's not that bad because I used to get people that would also tell me, "Oh, bro, you don't need clips on a bench press. If you can bench press properly, you don't need them." And they thought it was like sacrilege. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, but
Actually, on that, would
can put
you,
them on."
if you're, well, a two-part question. I know we've gone off the bit off topic. If you're bench pressing, are you putting clips on?
I would these days.
Interesting.
Just
Interesting.
just a force of habit. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like, is
Because I
what it
was
is.
always under the impression that when you benched, you wouldn't put them on. So if you failed, you could actually shift
Ditch
the
and
weight off.
ditch.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
just
Anyway,
don't fail, mate.
what's your? Yeah, sorry,
Just
my,
don't
my
fail.
apologies. What's your one, mate?
Mine is well, I've had plenty. I've actually got a video of me missing a re-rack on a barbell squat, which is quite funny. So I've got it on one side and then missed the other, and it's just fucking collapsed and like
Oh,
I've folded like a pretzel underneath.
I would
That
say
one,
that's pretty common. Like I've done
that
that
is
more.
pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty common. The dumbest one I have ever done though is I have accidentally loaded more plates on one side than the other on a barbell squat and
Yeah.
then unracked it and then immediately just like I'm pretty sure it was three plates on one side, one plate on the other.
Oh man, that's a big difference.
That was a big difference. I've also done the thing of unracking the weights and I took them all off one side and then the
Oh
barbell
yeah.
just starts shifting up.
I feel like
I've done
that's a.
plenty, mate.
I feel
I
like
have done plenty of
that's
dumb
like
shit
an
in the gym.
introduction to the gym, like knowing how much weight you can put on it, take off a side, and like getting that like that shock horror of like, oh, it's moving, and then you quickly have to grab the bar and realize that you
Gotta
fucked
leave
up.
one. Gotta leave
I
one
think,
plate.
like,
But then
yeah,
there's also some racks where that doesn't happen.
yeah, well, yeah. I've found that, especially in my gym, I can take off 2.5 plates. Sorry, like leave two and a half plates. Sorry, yeah, 3 plates on one side and take off all but one plate on the other side, and it's still fine.
Yes. Yeah, as long as
Right.
there's one on the other side, it'll be fine. But then
Yeah,
I've had some racks where like you can take everything off and it'll still stay
yeah.
balanced.
I'm,
And
I'm very,
I do it to people to like freak them out because they're like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, no, it's fine.
I actually remember hack squatting with yeah, one of my mates back in the day, and obviously was recording the set. And I'd loaded my side up correctly. He'd loaded his side up with an extra 2.5 or an extra 5 kilos or whatever it is. And like during the set, I'm squatting. I'm like, man, this feels a bit heavier. And like, funny enough, I actually got like a PB and got the numbers. But I specifically remember in the video, I watched him, like, once obviously we found out that it was loaded incorrectly, we watched him throughout the set and he's got the most like dazed look on his face. He's like looking at the weights and he's going,
What's
what
going
have
on
I
here?
done? And like, he's trying to calculate it in his head. And it's just one of the funniest videos.
Well, here's a question for you to flow on from that. If you're on an evenly loaded machine,
It
for
has to be even.
example, a leg press, you have to
Has
be
to be,
even.
bro. I'm talking like 1.25s on either side.
So,
It has to be, bro. I
nah.
can't do it. I cannot do it. And like, I will argue to the day I die that like the aerodynamics are different and therefore it is a different loading. Has to be fucking the same. I will die on that hill.
See, I used to be like you as well, super duper OCD. And then I think I got to a point where I was like, I'm sick of scouring around the gym for 2.5 kilo plates or sick of like unloading stuff to load stuff on. You
Yeah.
just stick a 5 kilo on one side and then hope for the best.
No, well, that's a good actually question for the viewers. Drop us down. Are you, let's call it anal retentive and has to be exactly the same on each side, or do you not care about loading as long as it's the loading that you're lifting on machines that are, I guess equally counterbalanced?
Mate, I can tell you that a fair few of my clients do listen to this podcast, and I greatly appreciate that. They will vote for the just throwing a plate on one
Yeah,
side because that's what I do
I
for
can't
them.
do it
I'm
either.
just
Like,
like, yep.
another one that annoys me is like someone will like load up like 10 kilos on one side and 5 plates on the other, and I'm like,
Nah,
no.
see that
Okay,
is
so that's where you
sacrilege.
draw the line.
That's sacrilege. That is, you can't be doing that.
Yeah, or like loading up a smaller plate and then a bigger plate over the top of it. Can't do that either.
Nah, the plates have got to be the same. The
Yeah.
plates do have to be the same. I'm with you there. I'm just like, if
No,
I need to add 5 kilos of a leg press, I'm just
I'm
putting a
talking
5
like
kilo.
more so. Say if you're working with someone, they do 20 kilos on the bar, and you're doing say 60 kilos. They have their 10 kilo plates on. Do you then take their 10 kilo plates off and put 20s on and then a 10, or do you just put 20 on top?
Oh, that's different because you're working in with them.
I'd still put 20. I'd still do the 20s first.
Yeah,
Take it all off and It's just one of those things. Mate, you know this. I'm a bit. I'm wired a bit
No, I
different.
know, and I know exactly what you mean. Like in an ideal situation, I'd do the same as you. However, when I'm working in with someone and I'm like, especially if I'm working in with them, like
Yeah,
I'm hassling you to use the machine, I'd be like, I want to make it as easy for you as
yeah,
humanly possible.
essentially. But like even so, like if I was doing it, I would then re-rack their weights and put their weights back on. Like
Yes, yes.
whenever I am working
Common
with,
courtesy, mate.
yeah, especially when I'm working in with someone else, like I'll before I even jump on the kit, I'll make a mental note of the weight they're lifting, the way the machine's set up. So once I've finished my set, put it back on their weight, put the seat back the way they want, make sure so when they come back to the set that it's like, okay, nothing's changed. I can go straight into my set. It's just
Exactly.
again, it's gym etiquette.
It is gym
What
etiquette.
else you got for me, mate?
We'll do one more, and then we'll do the road get to know you question for the week.
Sounds good, brother.
What is the thing you wish you knew sooner about? We'll go about bodybuilding, so we can say nutrition or training.
I'm going to simply say the easiest one because it relates so deeply to me. Eat more. Eat more. And that relates to so many people, especially especially me. Like, I thought I was eating a lot of food. I was eating nowhere. Like, I actually like when I made the post about my whole story in terms of, I was looking through old photos trying to find the food I was eating. I actually found the macros I was on, and it was ridiculously like
What was it,
it was like 2,500 calories. And I thought I was
bruv?
bulking, bro. I thought I was
Bruv.
like, don't get me wrong, I was eating like 5 meals, but they were not like dense enough to be like, putting on weight. And I'm like, this is
How did you
just,
get 5 meals out of 2,500 cows?
man, I'm good at this stuff. I'm good at volumizing. Now I'm good at not volumizing and making every meal as small as possible, but more calorie dense. But like it
Yeah.
goes with everyone. Like, people will think, just dropping their calories straight away is going to make them lose weight or like, I think the biggest thing that I've learned once jumping into this space is people's nutritional knowledge is very, very low. And like what they think it can be achieved on a certain amount of calories is completely different. So, yeah, that's my big one is eat more because it will change your life. It'll make everything better.
I think that's got to do as well with like if you think back to like your PE or health class or whatever you did back in school, the stuff you learn about nutrition and health is very different to what is calorie conscious.
Yeah.
One for athletic ability as well as weight loss, fat loss.
Yeah.
Like I
Um,
think back to like, you think back to the food pyramid and the shit that you learn in there. And I'm
well, I
like,
think
it's dead
hasn't
set useless.
hasn't the food pyramid, I don't know if it's in Australia,
It's
but
yeah, it's
the
in
US has
America it's
actually
flipped.
changed. Yeah, it flipped, which is fantastic because it's like now there's some actual like proper information behind it. And that's the thing. It's like, with social media, there's so much information out there, but as much as there's so much information, there's so much misinformation out there as well. So not only makes it easier and more accessible to information, you just don't know whether that information is correct now.
And like you discover this as well, like working with people who have never counted calories before, but they say they eat healthy,
Yeah.
and then they list some of the foods. They are actually eating really healthy, but they might be eating a massive portion of salmon, a massive portion of, let's just say, like potato with oil.
Oh,
They're following like something similar to a Mediterranean diet, which has very, very high fats.
yeah.
And that might not agree with them, especially if that's every single meal of their day. There's nothing wrong with any of these foods that they are having. It's just their quantities and their flavorings are very calorie dense.
Yeah.
And so getting through to them that, okay, you're having like 6 whole eggs in the morning, you drink full fat milk, you're having salmon for dinner, you put olive oil and butter on everything because it is technically healthy for you and it
Mm,
is like all these things do just add up. You do need to understand your quantities.
100%.
Or this is the best one, they have like 300 grams of protein and then their usual amount of carbohydrates and fats and they're like, "Oh yeah, but I'm having a high protein diet." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you're still over consuming." Like
Yeah.
overconsumption of a good thing does not mean positive.
Do you know, I used to run back in the day, I used to run the six eggs in the morning. And I love this too. Six
Me too.
raw eggs in a shake.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I thought you might like that. So 6 raw eggs in a shake.
Are you Rocky Balboa?
Of course, mate. You know who I am. But I
Goddamn.
put them in a shake, blend it up, and then I found out like years later that you're not actually getting the same protein, what's called panel from an uncooked egg. You actually get more when it's cooked, And I'm like, oh, all those years I've just wasted.
Dude, do you want to know a hardcore story? My granddad, who I never got to meet, my nonno, so the Italian one,
Yeah.
he was one of those guys that would just crack the top of an eggshell and just suck it straight out.
Yeah. It's
Hardcore stuff. I'm just like, how do you
I
how
think
do
I've
you do
done I
that?
think I've done like the proper Rocky Balboa in like the glass and nicked it, and
And just chug them?
it hasn't been good.
Wild.
It wasn't good, man. Like as much as I am not proud to admit it, I have tried blending chicken and rice with water.
Oh yeah, nah, no.
Not good. Not good at all. Not. I don't care how hardcore you
Last
are.
resort.
The shit. That is quite literally the last resort. But I will take it there if I have to.
If you need a wisdom tooth out, you'll be
Yeah.
doing that blended
Well, that's
chicken.
the thing. I had my wisdom tooth out, but obviously had Scotty under my side, and he's like, okay, we can do this without blending chicken and rice.
What did
So,
you do instead?
it was just more like calorie, like liquid calories, a lot more like stuff like that. Yogurt, we utilized a lot more stuff that was easier to digest from a chewing standpoint. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, did you cover yours? I don't know if you.
No.
Of course.
Mine would be. I second eating more because that was definitely something that I found, especially to try and grow and put on muscles. I was not eating enough and definitely under fueling. So, learning how to track calories and learning how to best get in decent amounts of food, but also in controlled amounts,
Yeah,
not just eating like KFC and whatnot to dirty bulk. But I think for me, the thing I wish I knew sooner is to do with load in the gym and controlling reps and weights because as I've already said, back has been one of my weak points, but I used to, lat pull down heaps and row heaps and da da da, but I was just like bicep curling pretty much.
moving away. Yeah,
So learning how to utilize my body in a efficient way, let's say, how to actually engage a muscle, also tempo. My first coaches and my first in-person PTs, one taught me how to actually move with a back muscle, also taught me a lot about tempo, which used to be like gold standard for muscle growth. It's kind of been debunked now. It doesn't lead to muscle growth. However, it's super important in terms of bringing on proximity to failure earlier.
yeah,
If you are having a 3-second eccentric and you're actually controlling, or you change up your training and you have a 3-second contraction instead of just a 1-second contraction, yes, you're not getting more muscle growth from it, but are you getting closer to failure as a result? Are you improving your mind to muscle connection? My opinion is yes. So I prescribe tempo for all of my clients as well.
right, yeah,
But yeah, it just game changer.
yeah,
Like all of a sudden, instead of my lat pull down, like anyone who's just listening won't be able to see this, but instead of it just being like da 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 da, it's now like, okay, pull, squeeze, 3, 2, 1, stretch for a second, shoulders back, and then go
cool.
through.
Yeah,
And it just that has definitely been the thing that has changed all of my training, I would say, not just back training, but, chest, shoulders, legs, like everything like that has, one, saved me from injuries because touch wood, I've not had any major injuries. I've had niggles and weeks off here and there, but nothing major. But it's also just allowed me to be able to get stronger over time, but also just build more muscle over time.
yeah, 100%. I think it's really important. Like it's one of those things. We're not powerlifters. We're not just trying to move the load from point A to point B. We're actually trying to elicit as much stimulus as possible and get the most out of every single rep, essentially. And load is fantastic, but load's not what we're chasing. We're not chasing heavier weights. We're chasing,
No.
honest progression that's going to lead to muscle growth. So it's
Dude,
funny.
one
Yeah,
thing I say to everyone who is trying to be a bodybuilder or trying to get into bodybuilding is that powerlifters make hard weight look easy, and then bodybuilders make easy weight look hard.
yeah,
Like
I
that
like that.
should be the visual representation that you're looking for. Is like it's lightweight, but it looks like it's heavy.
I like that. Well, funny enough, like one of my clients, Shane, trains at the same gym I do, and I was looking over his program, and he was like leg extension, this certain weight, and I'm like, man, that's really strong. Like this is awesome. Anyway, fast forward, we're in the gym at the same time, and he's like, "Oh, come watch one of my sets." I'm like, "Awesome!" So I watched his leg extension set, and I'm like, "Well, there's the reason why he's lifting so
Yeah,
much is because his legs go like this. They just like momentum swings up, comes down, momentum swings up, and I'm like,
hips shooting up and
yeah,
down.
and I'm like, okay, hang on a minute, let's jot this down like a few pegs. Let's go up for 3 seconds, hold it, and come back down for 3 seconds, and see how much better, like how that feels. And he does 4 or 5 reps, and he goes, "Man, that was tough." And I'm like, See
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, there's a lot of benefit to actually slowing down and really controlling it and feeling the reps. And the trade off is, yes, you're not going to be able to lift as much, but who cares?
It
Leave.
leaves so much more room for progression. Like
Yeah.
if you think about someone who has fully stacked a machine, what are they going to do after that? You get a gym pin and you add some weights
Mm,
on, but there's only so much you can do to that. If
yeah,
you can then pull yourself halfway down the stack, you've got that full amount like
100%.
left to progress.
Leave the ego at the door.
Yeah.
And I definitely found that, like, on, one of the seated hamstring curls at our powerhouse. It's not I wouldn't say a heavy stack, but I was managing to stack at 190 pounds. And I found that when I watched back the videos, I'm like, okay, I can get these, but, like, let's see if we can slow it down even more. Like, maybe, yes, towards the back end, I'm rushing a few of the reps. They're not obviously the same tempo. Let's see if I drop it down to, say, 170, control every single rep, make sure every single rep is perfect, and straight away I'm like, okay, I can't do 190 at this speed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and that's again another reason why you should record your sets. You can actually, watch it afterwards and go, okay, first rep to last rep. Yes, they're not always going to look similar, but if they're completely different in terms of you're rushing the rep, it's a sped rep, then you know that it's probably a bit too heavy for you.
Yeah, and like that is the ability of having a coach as well. Is like I encourage my clients, after a deload or after a program update, just have like a little bit of regulation around your training loads. Like that's
Yeah,
your opportunity to go, okay, can I peg this back by just 5 kilos as we start a new program or as we come off a deload, and then just work back up to where we were previously, but just try and take a little bit of account,
yeah,
and just improve your control in
yeah.
some sense.
Because, like, progressive overload isn't just about the weight you move. Like, it's how you move the weight. It's, the reps you get, the actual the feeling you get within the reps. So, like, I might be stuck at a chest press for 2 sets of 8, stuck on it for 2 weeks. But if that eighth rep isn't exactly where I want it to be in terms of feeling, in terms of like getting it, fully an honest rep, then what's the point of progressing to a weight that I can't control?
Absolute zero.
So, very good. What's the road get to know you question for this
All
week, my
right.
man?
So, for any new listeners, this is our running segment and how we finish every single episode. So, the road get to know you question is basically something that I will ask Timsy. I'll share my response as well, but it is a way of getting to know you without actually telling me anything about you. So, this is not what's your favorite color. This is not just particularly what's your favorite food. Sometimes it does come back to that, but it's very specific. But we're going to go for a bodybuilding centered one today, mate.
Yeah, let's do it.
Coming off the back of last week, we had Nick Hanna on the episode. If you haven't listened to that yet, it's really, really good insight. So make sure you check that one out as well. But I can't remember if he was telling us on air or if I saw it off air. IFBB Naturals, mate, they
Oh,
do their tanning 2 days before.
okay.
And so they do 2 days before, 1 day before, and then on the day. Now, I constantly say the worst part about a bodybuilding show is the tanning process.
Yeah.
Love all the tanners, love anyone that works in the tanning. However, it's just not a very nice feeling. Particularly, the two things that I hate about a bodybuilding tan are sleeping in it and then scrubbing it off.
Yeah.
So, Timsy, question is, would you rather the 2 day ahead tanning, so you've got to sleep in it for 2 nights
Mhm.
before your show day, but as soon as your show's done, it wipes completely off in the shower. So all the oil, like if there's any dream tan, the whole tan comes straight off that night. So you
Yeah.
have to sleep in it twice, but you're done after that. Or you only get a top coat on the day, so you don't have to sleep in it at all pre-show, but it then takes 3 days to scrub off, let's say. Let's try and make it equal.
I think I'm gonna do the top coat and then the 3 days scrub off.
Yeah.
I think, and there's a few reasons. Obviously, it's disgusting to sleep in, like, it's just an uncomfortable feeling, but I found that, like, with my tan, I had so much anxiety over it. Like, I don't know.
Over smudging it, yeah.
Yeah, like, I just had that in, like, the overhanging anxiety that I was gonna fuck something up and I'm not gonna be able to fix it, and, like, mind you, if you got good tanners, they'll be able to fix it, but I was just, like, paranoid that I'd fuck something up and it would go so horribly wrong. And, like, this is coming from a guy that's never ever tanned once before in his life. Like, I'm sure the girls are like, sorry, I got a handprint there. I'll fix that. It's a piece of piss. But just the anxiety over it. Like, I don't know it can be fixed.
100%. Yeah.
But the
And
anxiety,
that
and then
and then you don't sleep as a result. So you're nervous
No.
for the show. You're trying not to move. You're sleeping in like black black clothing that's fully long. You're
Yeah.
also thinking about the sheets. Like if you're in a hotel room, you're just like, oh man, I
Yeah,
can't.
there's a lot of anxiety of it. And like to be honest, I don't mind it afterwards. Like I know it's like all scaly and stuff, but I'm a white guy, so like the longer I can have a bit more darker skin, the better it
See,
is.
it's not the natural coming off for me, because if there was one time last season where I had 2 weeks in between a show and I was like, cool, can let that naturally come off. It's fine. It's scrubbing it off for the next week,
Yeah.
because you can't
Um,
get new tan over
yeah,
old
yeah,
tan. Otherwise it goes really patchy.
yeah. And
That's the thing for me.
I had a lot of that with 6 shows. Like
Mm.
a lot of them were back to back. So like I was just consistently in the shower, just scrubbing, and then like
And then you got to be careful not to take the skin off with it.
100%. And like, especially as well, because you're getting another tan, you've got to make sure then, therefore, your skin is still healthy enough to get another tan. Because, a lot of people break out and, don't take care of their pH levels when it comes to their skin. And I actually changed soap leading into prep, which is a whole nother story.
Oh, okay.
To actually make sure that my skin was, a lot more suited for it and a lot better for the tan. So,
Have you ever had a bad tan?
yes, yes. I'm not going to name names, but I have had bad
Okay.
tans.
Okay. What was wrong with said tan?
Color, I guess under like, yeah, it just, yeah, patch, like, yeah, it's hard, like, especially on the bigger show days and stuff like that, I know that the people that do tans, they do an incredibly good job, and, it is a high stressful type of thing because, they're going through a lot of people, and especially when it's a big show, you're not getting all like the attention you may need. So yeah, definitely have had bad tans, but at the same token, I've had some incredible tans, and again, the photo we use for, the thing, that's some shots with the tan are absolutely incredible. So
Yeah, I've had 2 bad tan experiences. One was my first time getting tanned.
yeah,
I think something went wrong with the tanning gun, or there's 2 things that happened. Either something went wrong with the tanning gun, or my skin just did not react very well with the tan, but I went lobster red. Like it's my very
yeah,
first show, and if anyone's seen any photos from my very first NBA show, I'm red, and then the 2 people next to me are like brown. So you
yeah,
see photos of me solo, and when the stage lights were on, it looked okay. You put me next to people, it was like, oh, this looks
yeah,
horrendous. But that was my first time getting tanned. It could have been very well a skin reaction to it. But my other bad tan experience was actually dream tan. I know that like old school bodybuilders swear by it, but there was one show. We can say it was NBA Nationals. Everyone was made to put on dream tan. That was a requirement. Like you needed to get dream tan beforehand. And either it just didn't look good on me, or the stage lights weren't calibrated for it. Everyone just looked like they had been like. Have your family ever said the thing to you, like the joke about being covered in Vegemite? Like, oh, you look like you wear like I'll get the tan, and then my aunties and uncles are like, oh yeah, we'll just smudge some Vegemite on you, mate. We'll save you some money. And I'm like, ah, ha, ha, ha. Legitimately looked like we'd all been smudged in Vegemite, though.
yeah.
Like, it looks like we'd either been rolled around in mud or Vegemite. So I'm not a Dream Tan fan at all.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone's body is different. Everyone's like, skin pH levels and like the thing people can react to is so different. So like, I guess it's one of those things with tanning, but you don't know until it happens. And I mean, especially now that
And you don't know until you get under the lights either.
100%, and especially now with like natural bodybuilding, as we discussed, is growing as well as like obviously posing. The tanning elements also growing too. It's getting better every single year.
Everything.
It's the thing. It's one of those things. It's not always going to be perfect because it relies on so many different variables. But every year, if they continue to just grow the same amount as everything else, it's going to be eventually no issues at all. So
100%. Oh, I'm glad we're in agreement there.
yeah,
No sleeping in the tan.
no sleeping in the tent. I would take that every day of the week. But with that being said, Mr. Payne, what an honor it was to jump on this podcast with you once again.
Mate, we managed to just chat some shit and just catch up for an hour and 20. That's pretty damn good.
I've got to try and think of an actual topic, an actual headline for, for today's episode.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Payne and Timmsy talk shit for an hour.
Fine.
Anyway, how was your monster? We'll end on that. How was your monster, my guy?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Blue Hawaiian. This is obviously one of my top 3. Is still in the top 3. I have started trying some new flavors, as I did mention. The peachy keen one actually wasn't that bad. I'm not a big peach fan. However, it was quite consistent. So I was happy with that. What about yours, Timsy?
I'm gonna have to down another one because this one was only 473 mils, so I don't feel like I've hit
What?
my quota for the Monster.
What do
Yes,
you mean?
the imported cans are actually smaller. Like these variant flavors, they're actually smaller.
By 27 mils.
Yeah, so it'd be rude not to crack another can, right?
Sure.
Like it'd be rude not to. Plus,
You got you got a
I'm
you
not
got a
on a
caffeine ban coming up though, don't you?
yeah coming up in the end of October, so I've got some time to acclimate. So I might as well take this opportunity to smash down some more. Now you unfortunately cannot because you're a
No,
rep.
no, no. I'm not on a caffeine ban today. I'm caffeine on.
No, but like you're not gonna have another Monster, are you?
I might not have another Monster, but
Yeah,
I might have another coffee at some
yeah.
stage.
Coffee's coffee. But no, this was absolutely beautiful. I've tried it before. It's basically like a Fanta in a can of a Monster with energy. It's fantastic. Absolutely love it.
What is the actual name of it?
Ultra Sunrise.
Okay.
But it's like
Nice.
actually kind of annoying. I have to wait now, which is a bit annoying. I have to wait until I finish my can wall and put this at the top because of this different size.
Ah, yeah, grim.
So yeah, I tried the red, blue raz, white, and one, the
What did
USA.
you think about that one? Someone else said to me it was actually quite overrated.
Didn't hit at all. I
Yeah.
actually tried in the car with Calder. He actually bought it for me. It like there was just too much going on, and everything was just not enough. Like it was just very very bland. So
Yeah.
bit
Which is
disappointed.
disappointing because Blue Raz is the
Yeah,
elite
I think we
flavor.
came to an agreement. It was like a 6.5 out of 10. That was probably
Oof,
generous, to be fair.
that's
Um,
flat, isn't it?
but yeah, it wasn't in, like the best. But like, I mean, I still obviously consumed it and finished it off. But um, yeah, a bit disappointing. I thought they like, especially with the can layout and like the design and everything, it was a really really good design and stuff like that. You're thinking it's going to hit hard. The expectations were up here, but results were down here. So
Flat as.
unfortunate it is. But with that being said, man, we'll wrap up this podcast for the week. Thank you again to everyone who has joined
If
either
you've
on this.
made it to the end of this
If you made it to
episode,
this end, there
congratulations.
was a comment on the topics we discussed today and the things we talked about. But again, we truly do appreciate every single one that has listened, has liked, has commented, has subscribed, follows along. And if you're leaving us a rating, we do appreciate it as well. So with that being said,
And of
guys,
course, we appreciate everyone like sharing it on their story when they're
yeah,
listening as well.
100%.
Tuesday traditions. We got
Shout out
Sandy
to Ivy.
Walking Ivy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Ivy. We absolutely love. I mean, I love seeing Ivy every single week. It's like my little serotonin boost, which is fantastic. But no, we do obviously appreciate everyone sharing it and getting the word out of here. Like we're just two guys, trying to have a bit of a conversation and bring more to the fitness community. So, with that being said, we
Definitely.
will catch you all next week. Adios.